consider China as a homogeneous state or homogeneous country, and China is a divided state or divided country in terms of, I would say, like class interests, and for Chinese elites, for the powerful people, and for some the middle class. So, for example, the WTO clause, and that will benefit them more than the marginal group or the working class in China. Right? So, in this way, the cover up, the hidden clause, and the censorship actually work for the interests of Chinese and American elites, right? So they had the common ground, right? Because and they don't want the public to know the real, the exact clause in the WTO agreement.
And why do you think they didn't want the public to be aware of this kind of information?
So the further privatization and the marketization will harm their interest further. So the authority worried about those people would like go to streets to protest. Yeah, in this way, and the elites, the intention to further open China's market will be affected.
Is the public aware that their media is censored?
I think the public should be aware of the censorship, especially now. Yeah, because for the public, how do they know the censorship? It's based on comparison, right? Like if they have access to foreign media, like VOA, and they listen to the news, but they couldn't listen to the news, same news in the Chinese media, so they know there was a censorship. Right?
Is there an increasing incidence of people using software to break through the internet censorship? Is this common?
Yeah, that's I know now there's a term called fanqiang. It's called climbing over the wall, because the Chinese authority they set up the Great Firewall, right, to screen out the unhealthy, they called the news from the outside world. And so some Chinese internet users, they avoid the Great Firewall, right, to go access to the websites positioned or stayed in foreign countries. Right? They know more about the outside world comments about China.
So in your opinion, is there a growing mistrust in China among the public, mistrust of the media and public frustration with the government now that this level of awareness is increasing? Do you feel like there's more dissent?
You mean the mistrust between the journalist, public, and the government? You mean the public and the journalists are not trustful of the government? Actually, it's hard to comment on this question because now China has more medias, right? Like there are commercial media, and the commercial media, they provide a lot of news, which may break the lines by the Central Propaganda Department, and also there are a lot of issues which interest the people, right? So those kind of issues can be reported in the Chinese media. Actually, the Chinese media, compared to the Western media, the Chinese media, I mean the commercial media, the state media, party media, they have done well than the Western media reporting China. And for the Western media, they just focus on several topics which are familiar to the Western audience, like Tiananmen Square protestment and the Falun Gong movement and the Dalai Lama, all those, the typical the
human rights issues.
Yeah, human rights related issues. But actually in China, domestically, the people care more about their life. How can they improve their life? And so the practical issues, not the the ideological issues, right? So, and all those issues which concerns people's daily and practical considerations can be discussed in the Chinese media. So I think the Chinese media has been opened greatly. Yeah.
Because of commercialism?
Because of commercialism. Yeah, commercialization. Yeah.
And you went on to report in the Middle East, is that right?
Yeah.
And was it with the same company?
Yes.
So did you find a difference in the media climate between the Middle East and China? Was there
a different media
like the
climate
environment?
Yeah,
for doing your job.
Institutionally and legally, they are different. But for example, I think in terms of foreign policy and the national interests, all the media are the same. Like for the Chinese media, they will work for their own national interests, and they must follow their foreign policy, right? And you can see CNN is a democratic, or not, it's a liberal media, free media, right? But CNN works for Americans' foreign policy agenda, right? So you can see the difference between CNN and the CCTV, for example, in reporting the international news, because they try to look at the outside world from their nationalist perspective.
So recently China has been investing quite a lot overseas in their media, even with English language networks around the world. So do you think this is an effort to promote national interest as well?
Any country, they try to pursue their national interests and soft power. Right? So, and with China's economic growth, definitely China try to expand its soft power. And so I think the foreign expansion of the media is part of their soft power strategy. Yeah, so I agree with that.